People often ask me where to buy yerba mate and recommendations, and I'd suggest going to supporting a local store or a small business if possible. However, if you're living somewhere where you can't, like I once was, and they just don't offer the yerba that you want, check out Pampa Direct. They have the largest supply of yerba mate that I've seen, and I've learned and tried so many from them before that I've never seen anywhere else. But not only yerba, they also have dulce de leche, alfajores, shirts like jerseys, games and snacks like chocolinas, which is one of my wife's favorite cookies. And I found some really great recommendations on there for beginners, such as Don Eregi, which is something I learned about by just trying different stuff there. And also some of my personal favorites, which is Pipore and Aguantadora Despalada. They have great customer service that speaks English, and in fact, they shipped me another package of yerba for free after they had mixed up one of my orders. And they always include like little, extras, like little candies and stuff, which is really nice. And they ship anywhere in the world, and they offer free shipping here in the U.S. with an order of $50 or more. That may change depending on your country. And as a sponsor of the show, they offer 10% off on your first order with the code POWER. Go to yerbamatepower.com/pampa to place an order. Again, that's yerbamatepower.com/pampa. P-A-M-P-A. Pampa. Thanks. Welcome, materos, to another episode of the Yerba Power podcast. This episode is a unique episode, so if this is your first time listening to the Yerba Power podcast, thank you. Welcome. Glad you're here. If you want to learn more about yerba mate, I've done 10 episodes now that you can find everything about yerba mate. You can also check out the rest of my stuff on Instagram at Yerba Mate Power. But if this is your first time listening, before you go away and go somewhere else, this is something that I've been meaning to talk about for a little while that could be helpful to you and someone else. And oddly enough, I kind of doubted and had fear about recording this episode, even though I'm going to be talking about overcoming doubt and fear. And you may be asking yourself, well, what does that have to do with yerba mate? And everything to do with it, actually. So let me start with a story and to why that is. So I started my Instagram account of yerba mate in August of 2021. And I did about, 2 or 3, maybe 4 posts and just kind of quit. Just gave up. Said, you know what, this is stupid. And basically never did anything for a whole year. Just left the account there, never posted, never did anything. And then later, it's kind of like there's this saying that someone else shared me, if it's your calling, it'll keep calling. And I kept feeling this kind of urge to still want to do it. We had taken a trip to Bolivia at the time, so this was like last October, November. And, I was checking out different mate yerbas and stuff that was down there in Bolivia. And just kind of decided to start posting about it again, and, just kind of wanted to share that over again about my experience there with traveling and, what yerba mate was available there in Bolivia, and just, reconnected. And actually, a couple of people spurred me on, specifically Toma Yerba Mate Osvaldo. He checked in with me and I guess never gave up on me. Yerba Mate World was one of the first people that really liked any of my stuff, and this was, back in the day. There's lots of other people that I take inspiration from. Yerba Mate Lab, Circle of Drink, Sud American Mate, Acete Unos Mates, Yerba Travels. It's a lot of people that are on this podcast as well. And so those are just some of the I guess to say that the Yerba Mate community has been so supportive, and that kind of kept me going. And, I had this fear about, this is stupid. Who am I to talk about this? I'm just a regular gringo American that, Yerba Mate is not where I come from and all that stuff. That who am I to talk about this stuff? But that's exactly why I'm the person to talk about this, because I have a different experience that to share, and I'm it's my story to share, and I have a passion for it. And people want to hear your story. They want to hear your passion and what you care about. And the funny thing is, like, no one's really criticized me. Everything's been very supportive in the Yerba Mate community. And, maybe I've got a couple comments that were really just out of, someone wanting to maybe correct or give me a maybe better information, and nothing really hateful in anything. And so I guess it's this kind of, fear of, what will they think of me, or what will they say? And like, if it weren't for me continuing to post, this podcast definitely would not exist, because I started this podcast just because really about 10 people believed in me and actually wanted it. So I just started, making it. And basically, I guess it's an encouragement too, is that if you think about that one person that you can help instead of, the tens or thousands or whatever, just focus on helping one person. And that's basically what it is. It just started kind of the podcast because the podcast wouldn't exist if the Instagram account itself didn't exist, because I would have never even had anybody to give this to. So I guess what's on the other side of that? Fear. And fear is crippling you, keeping you from doing what you really want to do. It's false evidence appearing real. That's what fear stands for. And fear is going to suck your energy, and you're going to really grow when you get out of your comfort zone. So I don't know, what if, and how would you show up differently, or what would you do differently if you didn't worry about what people thought? And, I get it that, like, it's this psychology thing, but the truth is, like, you're not going to die. You're like, it's just because someone unfollows you or stops, or doesn't like what you post. It's like, well, okay, so what? There's, 7 billion people in the world out there. Like I said, again, doing it for one person instead of for thousands. And, the truth is I don't have anything to really risk. So why not? And there's also a story that I've done in Spanish with Acete unos mates. His name is Adrian. He, I think, has been busy with doing his regular work and family life stuff, because I haven't seen stuff from him lately. So maybe tag him on this and see what he's up to. Check on him. And he did a little interview with me. We did it in Spanish, and I haven't really shared it, but I'm going to share that story as well. He called it a fracaso exitoso. So it means like a successful failure. And basically I talked about this story, about me quitting, posting, and how I just kind of felt like a failure, and ended up being the success in the sense of this community and this podcast and things that have come out of that, and the support and love that I've received from, I guess, just continuing to put valuable content out there that I'm really surprised that people care, but I'll just keep doing it as long as, we'll still find value. And that's what I try to do, instead of just getting, I guess, gimmicks for likes and stuff. Although I like to put out silly, goofy videos just because, I don't know, that's me. I think it's fun. And so if you stop having fun with it, then, why do it, right? I guess is another encouragement. But anyways, I just wanted to say this because I know I'm not the only one out there that struggles with the algorithms and what people will think, and fearing, should I put this out? What, this creative process. But, in the end of the day, I believe in a higher power of God, and maybe you don't believe in, some spiritual being or whatever, but I believe, I'm given this life on earth to do the best what I can, and I still have a pulse. I still have a purpose, as long as I'm still alive. So what the creative energy, and as my creator created me to create, and to everything that I do, doing it for God, for Him, for my life of, pleasing the audience of one. In other words, that if He's happy with what I'm doing, then, why should I care what anyone else thinks? Because ultimately, they didn't create me or make me, and didn't know me before until now. So they're not going to have the ultimate say over my life, and can't let those people or those things have that control over your life of being fear of what you're going to do or say, because ultimately, if your family and people the closest to you are going to care, then those that are, there's this quote that's attributed to Dr. Seuss, is the people that mind don't matter, and the people that matter don't mind. What that means is that your true friends, you want to be content with the friends that do matter to you, and they don't mind your insecurities or your flaws because you're your true friends. Does that make sense? So don't worry about pleasing those people that don't matter. And just to address some of these things is, we all think that like everybody's, staring at us, watching us, what we're doing. But the truth is that like everybody's looking at their phones and worried about someone else. No one really cares that much about what you're doing. People are just too highly self-absorbed in themselves, staring at their own phones. They're not staring at you. So it's kind of like, honestly, we're being selfish and self-conscious about something that no one else really cares about. And there's this, huge world out there, and we're just a little dot on it. And honestly, it's really kind of self-absorbed to even think that people would really pay that much attention to us, And the fact that we are just a blip on the like timeline of eternity is I don't know, just live for something more than this one, span of time that people might judge you while you're alive. And when you could be living something way bigger and being your true self and doing the things that really matter in life, if that makes sense. I know that's really maybe deep, but I mean, that's kind of what you need to embrace is. So how can you show up differently? And hopefully this is an encouragement to you, whoever's listening. I have just one ask for you of this episode. If you found value in this, if this helped you in any way, I ask that you share this with someone else, that someone else needs to hear this message as well. So that's why I recorded it, and know that you're loved. You are important. You have a purpose. Keep taking one small step forward. Keep pressing on, onward and upward. And talk to you next time.